Welcome to Hoops Hitting Gems podcast. I'm your host, David Jones. I'd like to welcome you all to another interesting show coming on tonight. First of all, I want to thank all of you all coming out tonight and checking out the show. We're going to do things a little bit different tonight. Tonight, we have somebody doing their college announcement. Very interesting. I'm definitely proud of this young man. Outside of that, we also have the assistant coach from North Texas, Coach Jennings. And then we also have the head coach from Hargrave Military Postgrad, Coach Messenger, will also be joining us later on tonight. Also, at the end of the show, we're going to go with what's been a staple on our show. It's called the Unsigned Hype, the top 2021 kids that are unsigned all over the country. It's been definitely a blessing to see some of these kids get offers off of being shown off of this segment. But we're going to jump right into a special portion of our show tonight. We got Jordan James from Kennesaw Mountain coming on the show tonight. He's definitely one of the top kids coming out of Atlanta. Definitely proud of this kid for, just basically taking his time with this whole process and finally making a good decision, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, of where he's going to go to school at tonight. Jordan, how you doing tonight? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good, Well, this is a dream for a lot of kids, man, to take that next step, man. You're going to be one of 7% of high school athletes that'll actually get the chance to play in college, man. How do you feel about that?
I feel really well. I just want to thank God for blessing me every single step of the way. I for real think would not happen because of him.
Definitely. And nothing's possible without the man upstairs, man. And especially with this being a COVID year, I know you had to be a little nervous because, things went a little different with you not getting really a good chance to showcase, for AAU last year because of COVID and cutting that season short, man. And even with your high school season, being up and down because of, having a quarantine and stuff like that. But man, you just persevered, man, and I'm definitely proud to see where you're at, man. Definitely.
Thanks, Coach. I know it's been a crazy year and stuff like that because AU being cut short and then the pandemic. I know it's really nerve-wracking, but I just kept going through the process and all this other stuff, keep putting in work and stuff like that, and the results came. So I'm just really happy and just blessed about all of this.
Definitely, man. And you definitely have some good parents that support you, and that's always important as well, man. Definitely important. Tell me this, what schools, when it came down to your final decision, what schools were definitely interested in making that step forward with you?
The schools I can think of right now is that Rhode Island College. They really wanted me, and I know Huntington, and then this Luther College in Iowa really wanted me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's come down to a couple of these schools. What was big for you to make this selection? What made it to you saying, okay, I feel comfortable to make this decision? And what made you cut down some of the other schools to say, hey, I don't think this will be a fit, and it's no disrespect to no other program, but what made you comfortable with some of the choices where you start to narrow it down?
So what was a big thing for me was also location, because I know my mom doesn't like me going places that far, but I really feel for me, just want which college that I like the most, that it made me feel like home to me, something that made me feel like home, away from home and stuff like that. So I wouldn't have to actually go back home and stuff like that. And also the education, because that's a very important part, because also not only basketball itself, but even after, if I want to get a good paying job, I need the education to get there and stuff like that. So that's why that was a big step for me and a big thing to think about.
Okay. And with you, just to let the viewers know, you have a 3.9 GPA, correct? Yes, sir. And, that's always something to be proud about, because that makes recruiting you a lot easier because you don't have grade issues, and that speaks on your character as well, man. Okay. So we're going to get down to business, man. So it came down to Huntington, Oglethorpe, and Rhode Island College. And what's your decision?
So what I decided to do was I'm finna go to Oglethorpe.
Okay. Congratulations, bro. Congratulations, man. You know, head coach Philip Ponder, man, got a good one coming to you, man. Definitely got a good one coming to you. So, as we know, Oglethorpe is a very high academic D3 school, and you're going to be in great hands with Coach Ponder and Coach Wilson down there. What was that just made you comfortable to say this is home?
To be honest, I feel like it starts when they first started recruiting me, and this it was like the SEBA event. It was like a camp or something, and then I just knew, like, so after this play, right, so I was about to go for this dunk, and I like kind of slipped in a way, but still made the layup. And after the event, Coach Wilson came up to me with like, man, there was a banana peel or something like that. So like it was funny, and then after I just bond, like started getting closer, and then when I was talking to Coach Ponder, talked to him, it made me feel like whenever I talked to Coach Ponder, it just made me feel like home. And then when I saw the campus and stuff like that, like the way it was talking to me and the way the whole campus was, I liked it a lot. It just made me feel like home and stuff like that. And I know the academic is really well. He told me about it, so that's why that was a real big decision.
Okay.
Oglethorpe.
So what are you going to major in when you go there?
Business administration.
Okay. And, you know, like I said, man, you know, one of the biggest things about this that I've been advocating about, yes, the ball, it's important to go play ball, but, man, that piece of degree that you're going to have, that piece of paper from Oglethorpe, man, that's going to speak volumes long after that ball stops bouncing, man. And it's big for you, man. It's really big. And I know a lot of people are watching you, man, and I'm happy for you, man. I'm definitely happy for you. It's just a blessing to see a young guy like yourself step up, and there'll be kids under you watching this and looking up to you to say, man, if he can do it, I can do it too, man. And, you know, I know mom and dad is in the background watching, you know, and I know they probably trying to hold back tears because I'd be boo-hooing myself too.
Hey,
so
right now.
Hey, man, let me tell you something, man. This is a big step in your life, man, and, you know, definitely big congratulations. When will they want you on campus? Probably in May or June during the summer to work out?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the summertime.
Okay. Are you going to go to summer school, or are you just going to work out?
I think just work out.
Okay, good. And gosh, that's what, 35 minutes from the house, and you can always go home and get mom's home cooking if need be.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. But actually, the season's not over. You guys are still battling for some state playoff recognition, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when is you guys' next game?
Our next game is actually this Friday. We play at Pope, and then after that, we have to play 2 games. We have to play Sprayberry, and I don't know who we have to play after that. I think it's South Cobb.
Okay, and this will determine whether you guys make that leap into the tournament, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you're averaging what, over 20 points a game, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I like to see, man. And, you know, like I said, with you and your teammate from last year, Perry Robinson, I mean, you guys are at a school where, you know, you guys are starting to put Kennesaw Mountain out there because, you know, people were like, Kennesaw Mountain, they're really a basketball school? Well, here you go. And, you know, you got 2 guys that are really putting this school on the map, man. And, again, 100% congratulations, man. I know all of Kennesaw Mountain is watching, man, and I know a lot of Oglethorpe is watching. This is big for you guys, man. It's really big, man, and congratulations. Is mom and dad there? Have mom and dad come in behind you, man. This is your moment. Hey, how you doing? This is just as much your moment as it is as Jordan's, man. I mean, this is a big time. How do y'all feel about Jordan committing to Oglethorpe?
Oh, we're very happy. We're happy.
I'm
We're excited. Yeah, had a good tour of the campus, and looks like a great place for him to be. So.
Okay, so this is a situation that, you know, it sounds like you all are confident and excited about as well as Jordan, right?
As we are.
Yeah. I'm happy it's not that far away, so I'm happy about that. I'm very
Wow,
happy
the
about that.
legend, Mom. You can get to him at any time now. You
I
can get him
can.
at any time.
I can.
Okay.
I
Well,
definitely enjoy. I like the coaches, Coach Ponder. My husband and I, we've had a conversation with Coach Ponder and the other coach, Coach
Wilson, yeah.
Wilson, and they just made us feel very comfortable at the school. They really showed us a lot of love at that school.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel good.
and Dad, you know what? You just touched something, and what you just said. A lot of people out there need to hear that. You guys are going where you all are wanted. And that's the biggest thing. It wasn't a situation where they called you guys once and was like, if you want to come, you can come. He's been in contact with you, Jordan, on a regular basis, right?
Yes.
Oglethorpe has been very consistent with us, and I really like that.
Communication, yeah.
Giving me updates on the schedule, when to tune into their games and stuff like that, and how they're doing.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
been updating them on his results too, what he's been doing in games and stuff too. So he's been sharing with them
Exactly.
what-
So they were paying attention to what he was doing in games as well, and texting and everything, correct?
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
And again, you're going somewhere where you're wanted, man. And like I said, to mix that in with the education piece of Oglethorpe, and I think you made a great decision, man. A really great decision. So, we're going to end this right here. I can't say I'm smiling for you guys. I'm definitely happy for you, man, because I know what you were going through. Just wondering, does anybody want me? Where I'm going to go, and it's finally over with, man. So now you can just take a deep breath, get back on the court, and get Kennesaw Mountain into the state tournament, man.
David, can I say one thing?
You sure can.
I do want to thank Coach Blair for basically putting Jordan out there, because he had a lot of faith in Jordan. He's pushing Jordan, to strive to be better. So Coach Blair had a big hand in, with Jordan as well too, of putting him where he needs to be.
Definitely shout out to Coach Blair. He does a good job up there at Kennesaw Mountain. I think he's very underrated as well, because now he's going to have 2 kids, and pretty soon that's going, committing to school. So that's huge for Kennesaw Mountain. That's huge.
Yeah.
So people can start saying, hey, we put guys in school as well. And you guys are in a loaded environment in Cobb County. So, you got Wheeler, you got South Cobb, you got the Gauntlet over there. And, now it's Kennesaw Mountain. So people say, hey, we do the same thing here as well, And people need to pay that attention, because, a lot of people want to transfer to the power schools, and sometimes that's not always a great fit, because, like in Jordan's case, he got a chance to be showcased at Kennesaw Mountain, and that was big. That was big for him. So
Nice.
Yeah, it really was.
He
It really
got a chance to
was.
show what he can do.
Exactly. So on top of AAU, to go somewhere where you can be seen, you can put up some points, you can show that you're versatile outside of scoring as well. You're rebounding and assisting. I can't say you might have seen that at a power school, because then you're fighting with those other 4 and 5 star guys as well,
Right.
And so I think you guys made a great decision in going there. And, sometimes people have to take a look at, that's why I brought you on the show, to say, hey, it's not always about going to that powerhouse school. If you go to a school where they put in the work,
Right.
this is what's going to happen. Definitely. Definitely. But, again, to all 3 of you all, congratulations. And, I know we've been in contact on a regular basis, and I couldn't be happier for you all. Definitely.
We're definitely happy. We appreciate everything that you've done for us. And like I said, as far as the love from Oglethorpe, we definitely feel it.
Yes,
Definitely feel it.
I will definitely be down there to check you out, Jordan. Probably the first or second game when the schedule comes out.
Okay.
Just make sure you keep putting Atlanta on the map, man. And congratulations, man. So we're going to end this right there, but 100%, this won't be the last time I'll be in contact with you. And I'm sure your Twitter feed is probably going to go crazy tonight with congratulations, man.
Hey, thanks, Coach. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Anytime. You all have a good evening, man. And again, congratulations, okay?
Thanks,
Take care.
David. Thank
Take care.
you.
Thanks, David.
You guys take care, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank
See
you.
you.
All right. Definitely, that's Jordan James right there. I couldn't be prouder of that young man. I mean, he's the epitome of the student athlete. When you're talking a 3.9, he's going to a high academic school to play basketball. And people need to understand, even on the long game, you don't always have to go to a D1 if you want to go overseas. If Jordan goes down there and does his thing, he's going to have opportunities to play overseas as well. And we'll be having another show. Shout out to my guy, Justin Briggs, who we had on the show probably a couple weeks ago. He just signed to go to Austria, and he was a Division II guy. It can happen is all I'm trying to tell you guys. So don't be caught up on the name on the front of a shirt. Be caught up with your work ethic, because that's what's going to get you to the next level and beyond. My next guest tonight, definitely a good guy. I got Coach Jennings coming on from North Texas University on the women's side. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, man, definitely good to have you on, man. You know, a lot of people don't know about North Texas here in Atlanta. Of course, I know about them, but, you know, tonight's that introduction to the Atlanta and Southeast area as well, man. Tell me a little bit about North Texas, man.
I sure will, man. First off, I want to say thanks for having me, and congrats to Jordan. That's awesome, man. I went to a Division III school myself, so I agree with you. Good basketball all across the country, man.
Definitely, man. It's good basketball. I'm at 100% on that. And that's why, even on the women's side, I advocate, whether it be Division I, II, or III, man, it's about that paper in 4 years that you're going to get, man. And, you know, people need to understand that. So, you know, yeah, I got you on. You're a D1 coach, but I don't want kids to feel ashamed that if they don't go D1, they're a failure, because that's not the case, you know.
Not at all.
And I always preach that. But, yeah, man, tell me about North Texas, man. And, you know, you all got some talent up there, and people don't know about it, man. Tell me about it.
Man, so University of North Texas, a blessing. So this is my first season at UNT. It has been awesome. I mean, it's been awesome. My coworkers are great. My boss is great. I work for Jaylee Mitchell. She's our head coach. Man, and it's really cool to work for somebody like her, man, because, you know, you cut her skin open, I'm telling you, man, she's going to bleed green. She's going to bleed green.
Okay.
She graduated from the University of North Texas. She's the all-time leader in school history on the women's side anyway. So, you know, so she's a basketball player, you know what I mean? And she is really invested in the program and in the community. So it's awesome. I also work for a lady named Jamie Carey, who's, you know, just a wealth of knowledge, a lot of basketball knowledge, played in the WNBA. So she's been awesome to learn from. And working with another guy who's energetic like myself, and Kelby Jones, you know, so just a guy that can do a little bit of everything, you know, super talented young man, and, you know, has a work ethic, man, that is exceeding himself. So really happy to be working with this staff. But as a program, doing really well, you know, hit the ground running, man, once the conference got started. Right now we're 6-2. You know, everybody's on this playing 2 games back to back. You know how the conferences are, man. So it's been tough, you know, and, you know, you don't know what games you're going to get to play and not play because of COVID. So it's just been tough, man. It's been really hard to get through. But so we literally just came off of a 2-week layoff. So basically saying like 2 weekends we didn't play.
Wow.
You know? And so this past weekend we traveled to Ruston, Louisiana, and we played La Tech.
La Tech, okay.
Yeah, La Tech, which is a program that's got a lot of history, you know.
Yes, they do.
You guys know about La Tech, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But let's just say UNT went there. We handled business.
Okay.
Lost the first game by 5, and we won the second game by 5. So.
Okay, so you split. Okay.
Yep, so we split. But, yeah, program's on the up and up. Like I said, man, it's been a beautiful staff to work with. The girls have been great. The 3 assistant coaches, this is all our first year. So the young ladies have all been really accepting, extremely coachable. So it's been nothing but fun. But UNT is in Denton, Texas. It's north of Fort Worth, about 25 miles. Population of the people there, I think about 140,000 maybe.
Okay.
But North Texas sits in a really cool place, right? It sits right off the highway. So as you drive by it, like literally, you can see our football stadium on one side, you can see the rest of the campus and the basketball arena on the other side. So it sits in a really cool location. And it is literally, man, it's the mean green. You see that phrase everywhere on campus. Mean green, the campus is green. It's beautiful. You know, this being a COVID year, I didn't really get to interview in person. So when I, you know, was thinking about taking a job, I just took a day and drove up here to the campus. I said, man, let me just go see what North Texas looks like, you know, looks like. Because I was coming from, you know, Eastern New Mexico. So I
Mhm.
said, let me just see what the campus looks like. Man, I got on campus, got to walking around. I was like, this place is really green. It was just amazing. It was awesome. So, but yeah, North Texas has been awesome. It's been great.
Okay. So roster wise, how many seniors you have this year?
Senior wise. So another thing that COVID is changing some things up. But young ladies that we have as seniors are Summer Jones. She's from Oklahoma. Another young lady from Oklahoma named Trina Mills. And we have another girl that is from Duncanville. Her name is Maddie Townley. So
Okay.
those are, and I can't forget as well, Callie Owens as well. So 4 seniors.
Okay. And so they're getting that extra year. Is that something they're going to entertain, or are some of them moving on? Because I know they have the option.
Yeah, they have the option. And I mean, I can't say for sure yet. Of course, those
Okay.
girls know what options, are at their fingertips. But the good thing about women's basketball, a lot of good things about some of these young ladies is sometimes they just move on, you know what I mean, with their life, and they just want to start their careers. For example, one of our young ladies wants to be a doctor, so
Wow.
she knows that it's a whole lot of school coming after that, you know what I mean? So just think about what's about to be on her plate. You know what I mean? Sometimes basketball is kind of the last thing on their mind once they know those 4 years are up. So
Okay.
it's part of it, man. Part of being an adult.
Okay. So you guys, with 4 seniors, I mean, you guys are generally kind of young then, right?
Yeah, we're kind of young for sure. Last season, we had 2 or 3 freshmen start. Last season, yeah, we were pretty young. And even this season, we got 3 starters that are sophomores. So
Okay.
yeah, we're a pretty young squad, and talented. These girls are athletic, strong. They can finish at the rim, and can score at all 3 levels. Got the pull up jump shot to their game. There's some people trying to X out the game, which I hope they don't. They love the pull up jump shot. That was my thing. But
Okay.
they can score from the perimeter, man. They can finish with left and right hand. Yeah, they're talented.
So now you guys playing a tough conference, man. Let everybody know about the conference, because I think
Yeah.
from that perspective, that's what people need to understand. Your conference is tough on the women's side.
Tough. And excuse me for the things that I don't know, but with this being my first year in the conference, athletes, man, athletes. And sometimes you see conferences or see teams that just got a lot of athletes and maybe not a whole lot of basketball players, but
Yeah.
you're talking about a good combination of both.
Yes.
Some girls that can be some track athletes and some girls that can, got basketball skills. Henry Ball can shoot it, got basketball IQs. So yeah, it is tough. I mean, in our conference, we got Rice. Rice is in our conference. Rice has a girl on their roster. She's 6'9".
What?
Yeah.
You said 6'9"?
6'9". You get a chance to look her up. But yeah, so like Rice has got a girl in their squad 6'9". And they're the top of our conference. In the last few years for sure. They beat a Power 5 school this year. I want to say it was Texas Tech. So definitely, yeah. We got some heavy hitters in the conference. Old Dominion's been really good, out on the East Coast. And that's another thing about our conference, too. Conference USA, it's
It's
stretched.
all over the place. Yeah, you got UAB, you got everybody in Conference USA.
100%. Yeah, we got all teams except for California. Like, we got it wrong, man. Yeah.
Man, boy, yeah, I'm sure looked at 6'9". Jeez, it's a wonder we haven't heard more about her, man.
Yeah. So, basically what we're saying is we need a 6'9" person at UNT.
Man, that's tough right there. You said Rice is at the top of the conference with you guys?
Yeah, so we're I won't say tied for second place, but once again, due to COVID, games have been being canceled. So some teams have played 10 games, some teams have played 6. We've only played 8. So there's 2 weekends that we lost, so that should be another 4 games. So we should have 12 games underneath our belt, but we only have 8, and we're 6-2 right now. So, but that is one of the second best records.
Are you guys going to make those games? So you're going to make up the conference games, though, right?
Coach, man, it's almost impossible. You can't make them all up. You know what I mean? We're only going to be able to make up so many. For example, we were to lose one more week, that'd be 6 games that we had to make up. That's a lot. And you're already playing 2 games a week. I can't really see them trying to get you to play 3 games a week. Like, maybe, but and we might have to at some point to make up a game. But I think the first week in March, if I remember this correctly, Coach Mitchell has said this a couple times. The first week in March, I believe they've left it blanket, right? They've left it open, so we can fill that weekend with some postponements and things like that.
Well, gosh, I hope you guys don't have to play like 4 games, because I know you're going to play back to back. If that's the case, then that means if you play back to back and then they try and send you somewhere else to play 4 games that week, yeah, well, that's risking somebody getting hurt right there, man.
Exactly. They won't have me suiting up.
Yeah, man. And then that following week will be the conference tournament, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Gosh.
Yeah, I mean, so there's just no way they have to find some kind of way to look at the numbers and just try to make it work,
Yeah, so I'm assuming this year will be based off of winning percentage then, right?
For sure, win the percentage and who you beat and who you lost to, and they'll have to look at seeding a lot. It'll almost be like the conference. I say conference, almost be like the national tournament.
Yeah,
I mean, like they'll have to do some looking at it like that. Like, okay, well, this team lost to this team. So they'll have to be creative, man. COVID is forcing everybody to be creative this year, and as a coaching staff and as a conference, I think everybody's been taking it with a grain of salt. So
I have a question for you, and I thought about this. So I know they're going to have the tournament in San Antonio. Are they still going to have the women's NIT as well, or is that canceled?
Coach, I have not heard, man. I have not heard about the NIT.
Okay.
That's a good question. I've heard the NCAA tournament's going to be in San Antonio, but I don't know about women's NIT. So.
Yeah, because usually the women's NIT, you usually travel to that
school.
court.
So that school, exactly.
COVID, is that going to be a situation? And I was wondering if you knew more than I did on that one, because I said, how are they going to do that this year? Because it's usually they don't play at one place until like the Final Four for the NIT.
Exactly. No, that's true, man. I haven't thought about that. That's a really good question.
Okay. Yeah, I've always been big on the women's side, because when I was at Toledo, they had a good women's team, so I would always watch the MAC girls play. So
yeah,
and like I said, I got my shirt on too. I got to represent. But
I got a good friend at Toledo right now on their staff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've since middle school. For me, and I tell people this all the time, that's how I learned basketball. Like when you're playing with the guys, a lot of times when you're younger, you're dealing with athleticism. When you're watching the girls play, yes, the game is slower, but it's more fundamental. So when they run plays, it's 100% different, and you can see it and be like, oh, so if the girls run the same sets as the boys, I would sit there. Sometimes I would be the only guy there watching outside of parents, but I was watching for a different reason, because I'm like, oh, I can understand this a lot better. And then when I went back to practice, I understood better, because I said, okay, I watched them do it in slow motion.
Yes.
And when I say slow motion, that's not a knock, of course, but it was at a slower pace, because, a lot of times with guys, with them being so gifted and athletic, they're skipping steps.
For sure.
And so they don't always do exactly what they're supposed to do fundamentally, especially in high school, and unfortunately that catches them in college. But when you see those steps being skipped, but when they're doing it in a girl's perspective, they do everything to a T, because they listen exactly to what they're told. Exactly. 100%. And that's why I love watching women's basketball, because it's like playing chess almost, because when you watch the coaches, they are really coaching. I mean, and their their plays have to be designed to the T. And when you see them executed, you're like, oh my gosh. A lot of times when you're a basketball fanatic, you can start saying, oh, I can see it coming. I can see them setting it up, because you see they're executing that play rather than, okay, I'm going to pick, cut, and throw it up and lob and catch it and dunk it. That's nice, but that's not always the way basketball is supposed to be. That's why I've been a huge women's basketball advocate, man. And, I just wanted to bring you on. If I had a daughter and she was looking at North Texas, why would I choose North Texas?
Why would you choose North Texas? Coach, man, one thing I always talk about is the people that your daughter's going to be around, right? Mm-hmm. For example, I'll give you an example, man. If you go to a small little town and there's not a whole lot of people there, but you go with all your friends,
Mhm.
right? You can probably make some good memories. You can probably have some fun. You with all your friends. There's
Yeah.
nothing there to do, just a whole bunch of cows, but you're there with all these people that you know, right?
Okay.
Okay, on the other side, on the flip side, you go to this new big city with all these good things to do, but none of your friends, no family, nobody you know.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I always try to get people to see is like where you go in your basketball career, right? Where you go in your career in general, when you get to working, like it's all about the people around you, right? And the people around you, if you have a connection with them, then everything else will take care of itself. You know what I mean? You can go somewhere with a group of your friends and it's a little town or a place or, you know what I mean, just a destination that you've never been to because you feel comfortable going with the people that you know. So that's why recruiting is it's a process, right? Nobody recruits somebody overnight. It's a process. You know what I mean? Especially with young ladies. You know, they got their moms and dads in their life majority of the time. And, you know, they want to make sure that their daughter's going to be taken care of. You know, they want to know that their daughter ain't going to have no night where she's going to go hungry. They want to know their daughter's going to have access to their coaching staff, right? They want to know their daughter's going to be heard, you know. Doesn't mean that we're going to always make the adjustment that their daughter wants us to make, but is she going to be heard? Is she going to be respected?
Okay.
You know, and I got a daughter myself. You know, me and my wife just had our first child this past Wednesday.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's awesome. But you know, that's been a whole new like window for me, right? My eyes have opened even more, like what it means to these parents, right? To say, hey, I'm gonna take care of your daughter, you know. So I mean, I just brag on our staff, man, and you know, and then basketball is secondary after that, you know, because just like you was telling Jordan earlier, long after basketball, long after that ball stops bouncing, there's life after that, right?
Yes.
And so you want to have connections with people that you can call 20 years from now. You know, some of my coolest memories are things like girls calling me and saying, hey, they just had a kid, or hey, coach, I'm getting married. You want to come to my wedding? You know, and I've been coaching since I was 19. I'm 31. You know what I mean? So I've been coaching since I was 19 years old. And so it's just, it's awesome to have those type of memories. So I would just say, you know, I would hope that they build a relationship with us and our staff. And like I said, basketball is secondary. You know, as a coaching staff, we're super competitive. We want to win. And hopefully the numbers show that themselves, you know. And then another thing is always playing style and what you're looking for in your basketball game. You know, do we fit you in your playing style and what you like to do? You know, that's a big part of it.
So education-wise, what are the big majors at North Texas?
Yeah, good question. So a lot of people don't know this, but UNT is really known for its music programs, right?
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So you guys being down in Atlanta, y'all can appreciate that, right? Y'all got all the bands and all that.
You're right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really known for its music. Also known for business.
Okay.
Also known for kinesiology, and just found this out today. Actually, I was talking to somebody about it. They are known for the radio and TV as well.
So communications is big.
Communications is big. Yeah. And so, I mean, you know, Coach Jones, this is all stuff that I've had to learn from ear to ear, you know what I mean, on the fly. Because with this COVID year, man, like I said, I didn't even get to go on campus for my interview. It was just like, hey, get on this Zoom and we need to talk, you know. So it's been a learning process for me too, you know.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I've learned that over my year or my time being at UNT. Some of the big time alumni that we have, Dr. Phil graduated from UNT.
Okay. I know another person since I'm from Pittsburgh.
Who was that?
I know of another person since I'm from Pittsburgh. Joe Green. Me and Joe Green. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Coach Mitchell says it all the time. She's like, that's where I think we got the name from, Mean Green. We got it from Mean Green. So, yeah, you being a Pittsburgh fan? Okay.
Yep. So I knew I'm from Pittsburgh, so you know that's almost culture right there. That's religion, football. So yeah, I mean, as soon as you got the North Texas job, I was like, oh, he'll know about Joe Green soon enough.
See, and so like Joe Green is still around. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's still around. I think he's on a board or two. You know, so he's present. You know what I mean? He's around, but due to COVID, I haven't had a chance to meet him. You know, I haven't had a chance to shake his big old hands, I'm sure, but like, I'm sure he's got some big old mitts, but like, it's just crazy. It's been one of these years where you just have to figure it out, you know, some things out on the fly, but staff has been awesome and just trying to teach me things as much as they can. You know, because usually by now, you know, you got some kids on campus and you
Oh,
on official visits, and so I would have learned doing that as well. So,
Have you had anybody commit yet this year?
yeah.
Okay.
So we had a unique situation. As soon as I got the job, we were, you know, finishing up some stuff for 2021, and
Uh-huh.
we had 3 girls commit like that, you know, and yeah, it was back to back to back. It was crazy. Like
Wow.
literally, one day, next day, and so I asked Coach Mitchell. I said, "Is this normal?" She said, "Nah, this ain't normal."
Okay, yeah. But you know what? I can't blame them, man, because, you know, if you watched any of the other podcasts, man, you know, it's going to be crazy out here for a lot of 21s and even some 22s because, you know, like we said, with kids getting an extra year, that's hurting you all from a recruiting standpoint because that's less kids you can bring on until everything clears up.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of them years, man, where people are gonna have to sacrifice some things. You're gonna have to understand your role, and you got to be happy with your situation. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, are you getting your education paid for? Are you progressing forward in life? You got to be happy with that. You know, so
I
so
want
many
to
more things to be. Go ahead, my bad.
Now, I want to bring something up to you, and I don't know, I'm sure you guys strategize as a coaching staff. Would you guys, especially in these situations, would you consider preferred walk-ons this year or the next up and coming year since you're going to be kind of on a strict limit, right?
Yeah, I think that's all case by case. You know,
Yeah.
depends on the player, depends on
Oh,
the
of course,
situation.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't see why not. But it all depends. I mean, when I tell you this stuff is all unknown, you know, you have players, everybody has players on their rosters, and you don't know if they're going to return. Whether it's a senior who is got some academic stuff going on, and she's like, "Coach, I'm really trying to move on with that and get that started," or whether it's an injury she's going through, and she's like, "I don't know, is my body going to hold up? Do it?" So you don't know. You know, it's one of those things where you just kind of got to play it by ear at the end of the season, see what happens. You know, a lot of these questions are here to be answered when you know who's returning, who's not returning, who's going to take advantage of this extra year. You know.
Gotcha. Now, with Texas being a huge JUCO area, I'm sure you guys take JUCOs.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, huge JUCO area. One of my good friends is the coach of Trinity Valley. But Trinity Valley is a big time program historically. You know, they do some really good stuff as far as winning on the winning side. But you know, they have a lot of girls that go to the Power 5 schools. You know, so they're flooded with talent. But yeah, it's a lot of JUCOs here.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and it's hard to pass on that experience that those JUCO kids come with. You know what I mean? Like they come with experience and they come with an edge. You know, you think about some of those NBA dudes that are JUCO guys.
Oh yeah, they got that chip on their shoulder.
They got that chip on their shoulder. You know, somebody people talk about all the time is Jimmy Butler.
Yes,
He's a JUCO guy. You know what I mean? Like,
and he's a Texas JUCO guy, right? Yeah, and when you say an edge, he definitely plays with an edge. Like he has something to prove, and he's a veteran. He still plays that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's just something that you develop there because you know everybody there is not only fighting for a spot on that team, but then it's going beyond that. I'm fighting to get onto another team. You know what I mean? Like, people are here to watch us. Like, now I got to show out. You know, not like when you at University of North Texas and you're playing the game like. You playing, and at the end of the year, you compile all your stats and you make you a highlight, and then you try to go overseas and play somewhere. This is coaches in the crowd. I got to show out now.
Exactly.
It's just a lot more cutthroat, man. And those players, they develop an edge that you really like, you know. So,
but I guess it's kind of to your advantage because I mean you can get down to a JUCO game and get back to North Texas with no problem. Whereas you know a lot of other schools, you know, getting to Texas or getting to Kansas, they're relying on synergy or something to that extent. You know, where as we all know, one of the golden things of recruiting, you want to put your eyes on somebody outside of looking at them on video. Because you know sometimes that video can fool you sometimes.
Oh yeah, they got to pass the eye test, man.
Exactly.
We all know sometimes 6 foot ain't 6 foot.
6 foot 5'10", 5'9.5".
You get to the gym, you're like, she got long arms, but she's 5'8".
Definitely. Hey man, I just got one last question. So with North Texas having that type of feel, especially being a Conference USA school, I know a lot of times people like to say, I'm looking to recruit up, but my gosh, if you guys are looking to recruit up, that means you guys are trying to get Power 5 kids then, right?
I mean, and we are. I mean, Dave, we can't. We live in the state of Texas, though, man. So, like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of basketball here. You know? So it's one of those things to where you got to know all the high schools and what they're doing, right? And like we talked about earlier, recruiting is building relationships. Yes, every once in a while, or maybe it happens more times than not, you recruit a girl at a mid-major school like UNT, and you develop a relationship with her, and all of a sudden the Power 5 school comes in and they swoop her up. Yes, that happens.
Yeah.
They got the flashier things, right? Like it makes sense, right? Their games on ESPN all the time. They got the really nice gym and stadium sometimes. Like, so we get that. But absolutely, like, yes, we want to recruit up. We need to recruit up. I mean, that's what everybody else is doing in our conference. You know what I mean? And the moment that we say we're going to just recruit at all levels, then you're going to be just okay. You know, you're going to be in the middle of the pack or at the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it 1,000 times. Girls go to a school and they don't like their experience there, and then they transfer out. You know, it happens all the time. So, you know, you said a stat earlier, and I didn't know the stat, but you were telling Jordan that only 7% of high school kids are getting the experience what he's getting the experience.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about that on the Power 5 level.
And the Division I level is worse than that. It's like 1% or 1.5%, something crazy. So
talking about NBA type stuff, you know what I mean? Like 1% of people, you know. So
exactly. So I mean,
everybody can't be at that Power 5, and so when you find those kids that are on the fence, we got to be in that conversation. It's that simple, you know. And we would hope that our personalities, right, are winning, right? Our culture, what we stand for. Having a coach who played at this university, having a coach, our head coach, being at her dream job. Like, it ain't too many people that can say they're coaching at their dream job as well. You know what I mean? So that gives kids and parents a certain, sense of, like, security. So
let me ask you this, because I know this has to be sometimes in the back of your mind sometimes, and it's the times we live in. So I come to North, so, you have a player that comes in North Texas. Maybe she might not have been highly touted coming out of high school, but she's a hidden gem, and she comes there and lights it up. And by sophomore year, let's say she's first team all conference, or maybe this is just us talking. Do you guys in the back of your mind sometimes worry, okay, here comes Texas Tech, or here comes Baylor, or here comes Texas, or here comes Oklahoma, to pick that? Because even though you guys are recruiting up, the Power 5s are sometimes looking like, who's that down there in North Texas putting up those type of numbers? Do you guys sometimes like, boy, I hope nobody gets her, right?
Yeah, no, that's funny. I like what you did there too. I heard how you put a hidden gem in there. I like that.
Always got to be creative. Always got to be creative.
That was great marketing. Love it. Okay, so I mean, this is my first year coaching at the D1 level. I've heard stories about it, right? But I haven't experienced that myself. When I was coaching at the D2 level, no D1 program came down and got our girls. We had pretty talented girls in that program. But I've heard about it. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it happens. But that lets you know that as a staff that you're on to something, you're doing something right.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, if you interested in my players at all, you know what I mean? And then that's something that you can always talk about in recruiting. Like, all right, well, how did I even get that kid? How did we get that kid as a program? If she really should have been at Oklahoma State. You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that you can, like, how did we get them? Oh, okay, maybe our program is something thinking about.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, no, I'm sure that happens. But I would take it as a compliment. If I heard about somebody looking at some of our girls, I really would.
Yeah, but whether it's North Texas, whoever, I always tend to think now, and this has just been me over the last couple of years, I like to try and keep up with the Conference USA Player of the Year. And if they're underclassmen per se, let's say they're a sophomore, you'd be like, oh, sophomore, you'd be like, the Sharks are coming. The Sharks are coming.
Right.
We just live in an era now. I mean, everything is on Synergy. Everything is accessible now. So it's no longer, we got a diamond in the rough now. Like, don't nobody know. No, everybody knows. And whether you're in California or whatever, they would know about this young lady in Texas that's putting up 25 a game and 13 boards. And everybody's like, who is this? And Lord help if she goes to the tournament and you guys knock off a 3 or 4 seed. That would just be me if I was a coach. I'd be like, boy, I'm excited about this. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, boy, we just got to really hug and love on her because, boy, they're going to be after this, boy. And she has that good tournament.
Okay, I'm with you, Dave, and I'm with you. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's got that same exact mindset, right? Like, we get this kid and she kills it here and she averages a double-double. Somebody's going to, I get it, especially when you get big kids, right? You get, like, big girls. Like, you can't keep that height, right? You get a girl that's 6'4", she's athletic, she came from a JUCO, and everybody's like, how'd you get her? Like, I get it. But the one thing that I would say is, what does that young lady want? Right? What is it? If she's at your school right now and y'all killing the game and like you said, you went to a tournament, you knocked off a Power 5 school, you got to sit her down and say, hey, what do you want? Coach, I want to play professionally. Okay, at what level? I want to play in the WNBA. I want to play overseas. Can it be done here at UNT? Sure, yeah. So like if that can be done here, ain't no need to leave. We already got the relationship. We already winning. They obviously we're doing something right. They're coming after you here.
Yeah.
Let's stay here. Let's ride this thing out, and let's watch you go to WNBA. If that's what you want to do. I mean, because just think about it, man. You move somewhere else, you got to learn that coaching staff.
That's true.
I mean, it's just once you're somewhere, you need to be satisfied, right, and understand, like, hey, I got some good things going on here. The grass ain't always green on the other side. It's gonna be really green. It's gonna be mean green, man. It needs to be with the green,
But I think that's one of like. When I look at North Texas, I compare North Texas, I like to compare them to like a Murray State. And the reason why I say that is you guys have a passionate fan base. And with you guys having that passionate fan base like Murray State does, I think that helps you guys keep those type of players because it's always going to be you can come back to North Texas and people will know you. It's not like, and again, it's no disrespect to any Texas school, but when you're at a Baylor, when you're at a Texas, yeah, you're good, but the next 5-star is right behind you.
100%.
He's right behind you. But in North Texas, and you don't even have to be that 5-star. That scenario I just brought to you, if you take North Texas to the dance and they knock off, you are legendary. You are legendary. And so people will know you 15, 20 years from now if you walk in that gym and say, can I take a picture with you? So I think a lot of times people have to understand that type of love and that type of passion can go a long way because even coming down to alumni status, like those alumni are crazy about sports too. So they're like, I remember her from 2010 when we knocked off such and such. Come work for me,
Yep.
And that's just one of the things you're my guy. But I tell people this all the time, you have to consider those things. You have to. It's not always just saying, well, I'm at Power 5, and look what I'm doing. You go to a North Texas and that scenario we're just talking about right now, and even if it's not that scenario, even if you're that glue guy that helped that team knock off a Power 5 school, you're still going to be remembered because I can hear people saying, you were tough as nails, back then, and they're still going to remember you. And I just think it goes back to that fit we always talk about, and people need to always think about, hey, is it worth going to Texas and you're marginal, you were respectable, you got some minutes over your years, or were you at North Texas and you guys built something special? Right? And I'm taking your job from the selling point right there because, but that's common sense. People have to think about that, whether it's boys or girls, because the women's game is evolving and it's evolving like crazy now. And it's starting to look a lot more similar to the guys in certain areas, not athleticism, not quite yet, but in certain areas where you're having girls coming in as freshmen and they're like, you're like, boy, she's ready for the WNBA now. Jesus, you know. Yeah. And so some of those scenarios are turning, and just like those scenarios are coming up, now stuff that was happening in the men's game is slowly creeping into the women's game. So, of course, that's going to have you, you know, up your game from the recruiting standpoint, because, you know, there's going to be different scenarios that come about. And, you know, I think North Texas is in a great position to do that because you're in a great conference, too.
We are. Great conference, great location. When you think about it, man, we're centrally located. You know what I mean? Like in the country, we are centrally located.
Yeah,
so, I mean, whether it's an East Coast kid, West Coast kid, I mean, yeah, think about it. Dallas is a hub for a lot of airports. Like, it's easy to get to us. Like, we're in a really good location, to be honest. As a mid-major, it really makes it a little easier to recruit here.
Oh, definitely. Well, you said it yourself. Soon you said we got a kid from Duncanville. Duncanville's a powerhouse. And they're a national. I mean, like I said, soon you said, I was like, whoa, y'all getting kids from Duncanville?
Coach, that's why I said it. That's why I said the word Duncanville. I made sure I said Duncanville.
And you talking about me, right? Yeah, I heard it. Trust me, I heard it. I was like, man, that's a power right there. If y'all grabbing Duncanville, that means somebody's recruiting very well at NT, for real.
Exactly. Hey, and the young lady I'm talking about from Duncanville on our squad, her energy, man, her motor, unmatched.
Really?
Unmatched. It ain't an offensive rebound that she don't go put a hand on. Unmatched, man. Like, I'm serious. Like, basketball IQ, you can tell that she's been around basketball and been getting taught well for a long time. Her 4 years in high school, it was teaching. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we're just going to roll it out and play no zone, or we going to just try to figure it out. It was teaching. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, it's awesome to get a kid from a powerhouse high school program, because they come in and they know all about ball screens and they know some stuff, you know.
They know the shell drill. They know everything.
They know a lot of the things that you need them to know to get a good practice and get a good season, going. But, man, what you said earlier, like, it's even, you can see it in the coaching world, too, right? Look at a guy like Brad Stevens, and Brad Stevens always sticks out to me because I'm from Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But Brad, he was at Butler, man. Don't too many people know about Butler like they do now.
Oh yeah.
What I mean? But like a lot of people don't know that Hinkle Fieldhouse, that's where the movie Hoosiers was shot at. Right there where he was coaching. Right? Yeah. But like a lot of people don't know that. But man, he took them to the dance 2 years in a row, and look at what happened.
Oh, well.
It wasn't on to a Power 5 school. It was on to the NBA. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree with you more. And, my roommate is from Anderson, Indiana. My roommate in college. So, I know. And let's just look at the coach at Gonzaga right now. It's the same scenario. He built that program. They went from a mid-major, but they're not a mid-major anymore. They are a Power 5. Even though they're just not in the Power 5 conference, they're a Power 5 school because they're knocking – it's expected that they knock off good teams now because he's built it. Yeah. So, man, we can sit up here, me and you can sit up here and talk this all day, man. You already know. But, one of the things, that's why, when I called you, I said, hey, man, I got to have you on the show because I knew about North Texas. And I know some people do here in Atlanta. It's not to say that they don't know, but it was just to give them a better introduction like, hey, North Texas, when they call, you need to pick up that phone because they got some killers.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
We got some hoopers, man. We got a young lady. She's been balling out. She's, I think, 3rd or 4th in our conference in scoring. She's shooting 42+% from the 3-point line, and she takes a good amount. I mean, she had a play the other day. A young lady fell, right? Like, was trying to get the ball, fell at her feet. So the girl is getting up off the ground. She takes the ball, just takes a side dribble right to the, to get away from her as the girl's getting up, let the third go, and puts it in. It's just like, man, I'm telling you, man, like her scoring ability is crazy, man. So we got a lot of good things going on, man, a lot of good talent. So that play just stuck out to me because she never missed a beat. Somebody was at her feet. She did what she had to do to get away, shot, but we work on a lot of that stuff, man. We work on a lot of the side steps, and we work on stuff that a lot of these kids want to work on anyway. But then we also make sure we hit and, focus on the fundamentals too. Like, that's where it all starts at.
So I got one last question, and this is to appeal to people that are watching. North Texas is putting people professionally overseas too, right?
Yeah. So I didn't coach this young lady, but I mean I've heard a lot about her. There's a young lady that was here in our program last year named Anisha, right? Anisha George.
Mm-hmm.
And man, when I tell you dominant, like in the post, like dominant, you know. And what I love to see about players like her is you know what they're going to do. It ain't no different than Steph. You know Steph Curry gonna shoot threes. You know it. But you
saw it.
Yeah. They gonna find a way to get him off the screen, or he gonna shoot a little deeper. But like you gonna be like, Coach, you didn't tell me I had to guard him at the half court line. Like you didn't say that, you know. But she was one of them players, and just imagine she was doing it on the block. You know what I mean? So we talking about a girl not stepping out shooting threes. You know she gonna get offensive rebounds. You know she gonna go over her left shoulder. Like you know what she gonna do, but she still does. Like,
and on the block, that means you a monster if you doing that on the block. Yeah.
People sending double teams at you. You know what I mean? People trying to front you. She's still like, I'm gonna find a way to get this ball. You know? And I love that. You know, because sometimes players go away from their game, right? They start getting double teamed, or they start getting guarded a different way. They start doing something completely different. That ain't them. You know what I mean? But that girl's a monster. Now she's overseas playing. So yeah.
And that's the selling point. And again, I almost feel like I need to put on a Mean Green jersey, but that's a selling point.
We need to get you a shirt, man. We need to get you a shirt, Dave. Send me your size, man. We need to make that happen.
And man, no, but just in all seriousness, I mean, even if it wasn't you and, you my guy, but these are all scenarios that people have to understand. Like, I can't say, I mean, I'm sure she would have been definitely serviceable for a Texas or a, Oklahoma. Definitely. I'm not saying that. But what she did at North Texas, I mean, it worked for her. She got off. She did her thing. She put up numbers. She put up stats. Now she's overseas. And that's where I always talk about, even with Jordan, I was like, it's the long game. Because, as you know, being a D3 guy, there were guys from D3 going overseas. And people have...
And can I give you one quick story? Do we have time for...
Yeah.
Okay. I played D3 ball, man, right? And when I got there, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't think D3 ball was going to be like it. I was like, I'm going to go here. I'm going to really do my thing, right? So like, I'm letting you in on something right here. So, right, Geneva College, which is in Pittsburgh, which is in Pennsylvania, right? Beaver Falls.
Yes.
And so I go there. I don't play. As a freshman, I'm on the bench. I'm not playing. Right at that time in my life, I thought I was good. I'm like, I should be playing. What's wrong with this coach? Right? He wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Years down the road, I would tell you now that I was nowhere near as good as what I thought. Mm-hmm. But man, we went and played in a tournament in Indiana, right? In our conference tournament. It was a team full of guards. I mean, guards. A D3 team full of guards. Man, I tell you, every dude on that roster nobody was above 6'4". They could all dunk, like super athletic, flying around. This is Division III.
Mm-hmm.
This is Division III in 2007, 2008. Like, I mean, I'm talking about their point guard I'm in warm-up. I'm watching them warm up. Like, what is going on? And I had a teammate who was 5'0", right? His name is Brian. 5'0". He crossed half court. He was in his range. Like, we would be in practice. My man would hit 10 threes, like, as we scrimmaging. And I'm just like, man, these dudes can play. So right then and there, I quickly learned, right? And when I got back home to Indiana and I started coaching middle school and high school girls basketball, I learned, like, basketball is being played at all levels, and it's being played at a high level at all levels. Some of those D3 dudes or D3 women are just there because, one, sometimes they just want to go there for academic purposes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's they just didn't have the size. Like, you know what I mean? He's 6'2", he's a little undersized, like. So I learned that, man, quick. So it taught me to never discount anybody and what they got going on,
Exactly. And man, that's a gem right there, man. I don't care on the girls or men's side. People have to understand you could get ate up on the NAIA D3, and I don't care how good you are.
Yeah, seriously, man. Seriously.
So, man, I definitely appreciate you, man. Like I said, people that don't know about North Texas, you know about them now. Is there any way they can contact you on Twitter or,
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So I'll say it slow. My handle for Twitter and Instagram is Coach DJ. So my initials, Coach DJ _M _B fit. Right, the M and B stands for mind and body fit. Right.
Okay.
So yeah, but that's how you can reach me.
Definitely, definitely, man. And like I said, man, this definitely won't be the last time you'll be on the show, man. You know, especially with this year being your first year. I want to see how things turn out the next 2 to 3 years. And like I said, when I come out there, you know, we definitely got to show me around campus too, man.
I got you, man. Dave, I just need you to throw up that eagle claw for me one time before we get off of here. Yeah,
definitely, man. Hey, man, it's been a pleasure, man. I appreciate you so much, man. You have a good one, Coach. Definitely.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, man. Take care. Coach Jennings, definitely up and coming coach, man. Like I said, people need to understand whether you're on the men's or women's side, do not look down on D2, D3, NAI. You will step on some of these campuses and get your feelings hurt. That's just 100% the facts right there. You know, for a lot of you guys that are like, oh, I'm waiting for that D1 offer, go step on one of these gyms and see what happened. But we're gonna move on. Definitely, I'm excited to have my next guest. Met him down at IMG at their classic post grad tournament. Coach Messenger from Hargrave Military Academy. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great, Coach. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, man, anytime, man. You know, one of the things I love, like, even when sometimes I can just rant sometime, but when I watch you guys play, two things stuck out to me. You guys are in superb condition. Superb. And because you guys, even though you guys didn't have like the big just horses, you guys were in such great shape. You just warmed down. And I said, you know what? I can only imagine what their workouts can be like, because it was evident the shape you guys were in. And understand, you guys, you're a great coach. You're a great coach. But what you did with that team, it seemed that they were just a tad undersized this year, and you wore them down, spoke volumes. And I had to commend you on that, man, because I said, man, when I first looked, I said, oh, this might not look good. Just from an eye test, I said, oh, they're a little undersized this year. But when I watched the aggression and the passion you guys had, you are definitely preparing them for college. There's no question. The way their style of play is hands down. I'd be the first to tell you, I can see why when you do have the horses, Hargrave puts out the number of talented kids that go D1, D2 because of the style of play and the way you're preparing those young kids.
Sure, and I appreciate that. All the credit goes to these kids, man. I mean, especially in this year, it's been so crazy. You know, everything that's going on for them, and to be able to give the consistent effort they give, day in and day out. And it's actually funny. We have a D3 theme going because I actually played Division III. My father coached Division III women's basketball. So,
Okay.
I go back to my days there, and playing for Coach Smith and the way we used to condition. And one thing we could always control was who's in better shape, us or the opponent. We're not always going to hit every shot. We're not always going to get every rebound. Every call's not going to go our way, but man, we can be in better shape. We can play harder than everybody every single game. So that's always a priority for us.
Hey, I just want to stop you real quick. We have some people that watch the show and they like to comment sometime. And Dr. Love Dre, go ahead and post that for me, man. This is one of the guys I was talking about right here. He said, where in the heck did you find that point guard Jackie from? That kid is special. His motor is untouchable. And Dr. Love, definitely, when I saw him at IMG, he stuck out to me. I was like, my gosh, I mean, nice physical specimen in excellent shape. And I was like, man, who is this kid? I mean, the effort he gave, time, that's what brought you guys back in the game.
Yeah.
That's
He's been incredible, and I've been at Hargrave for 9 years now. This is my first year as the head coach. I've seen a lot of really talented guys come through our program, and the numbers that Jackie's been putting up for us is I've never seen anything like it before. I mean,
Yeah.
he's averaging about 27 points a game. He's shooting 60% from the field. He's making over 4 3-pointers a game, shooting 54% from the
Yes.
free throw line, and he's averaging 6.5 assists a game. So I mean, it's I've never seen anything like it before.
I mean, the effort, I mean, his motor is high octane all game. I was like, boy, he making me tired watching. Jesus. I was like, man.
Yeah.
And now, who's looking at him, man? Or did he sign? Or is that the kid you were telling me about that everybody's looking at?
Yeah, so in the past few days, he's been offered by East Carolina, St. Bonaventure, and then about an hour ago, I hope we're not committing any recruiting violations here. About an hour ago, he was offered by North Texas. And he's got Kansas, Minnesota, Kansas State, a lot of Power 5 schools looking at him too. So
Man.
he's a special player.
And well deserved. Well deserved. I'll be the first to tell you. I like we say, we like to put eyes on kids. People, if you are listening, he's not a gem, he is a jewel right there. I was like, my goodness, I like him. I mean, and even like when I start to look at kids and say, okay, who stuck out to me at IMG? The way you guys played stuck out to me. The game I actually wanted to see, that I wanted to die to see. I wanted to see you guys play Link Year, because you guys play similar, and that game would have been a classic.
Yep.
That would have been. You guys play so similar and the same style of players. I would have had to have sat baseline for that one, definitely.
Yeah, and Adam does a great job with that program, and whenever we figure out where and when this national championship is happening, we might end up getting that matchup.
To text me when that happens, because I will be there.
I got you.
I will be there. So just touching on Hargrave some, I mean, you guys are a well-known program, and you're well-known in Atlanta, so it's not like you're a stranger. You had KD last year, who's actually doing very well at Georgia.
Great,
and
yep.
when he came to Hargrave, at first I was like, ooh, I don't know if he's going to be able, with Hargrave's reputation, I was kind of like, I don't know if that's going to work. But he went there and did well. He did well. And I was like, hey, and now he's at Georgia, but now that I know what type of situation you guys have, I can understand better why he's doing well at Georgia, because of coming up there and what you guys put them through. I can only imagine the conditioning part. It has to be something special you guys are doing. I mean, I don't want to let any cats out the bag or any secrets, but whoever your strength and conditioning people are, you hold on to them.
Yeah, I've got to give a shout out to. I've actually got a strength and conditioning coach. One of my assistants, his name is Ryan King. Unbelievable at what he does. He's great with the kids. They all love him. Unbelievable in the weight room. Great with conditioning. I mean, I'm gonna put a plug out there. If there's any Division I schools that need an assistant that can connect with guys and also take it to the next level, strength and conditioning, Ryan King's your guy.
Man, and I will co-sign on that, because I mean, what he's doing with those kids you have this year, and along to go with what you're doing on the coaching side, is kind of like a perfect storm almost.
Yeah.
I said, man, and we're going to talk about Hargrave just a little bit. Just over the past, 5 to 8 years, how many guys have you put in college?
Oh boy, I mean, well, every single one of our players goes to college. We have 100%. So we recruit a brand new roster every year, primarily post grads and then a few seniors sprinkled in. But we've had 100% of our guys that have gone on to play at the next level. So we're very fortunate with that. We've averaged over the last 10 years, we've averaged about 10 Division I players per year, and then about 3 or 4 Division IIs, and then 1 NAIA type per year. So it's been incredible to kind of have that sustained run, and just lucky to be around players that are not only talented, but are also willing to sacrifice what it takes to get to that level. And being at Hargrave isn't always the easiest place, but if you love basketball, man, there's no better place in the country to be.
And plus, what you guys playing on the military circuit, I think that's big too, because I mean, there's no slouch in that circuit either now.
No, you got to understand too, when you put that Hargrave jersey on, no matter who you're playing, that's the other team's Super Bowl. They understand that, these guys are getting scholarship offers. These guys have this, these stars behind their names. I'm going to get a scholarship offer if I can take it to them. So, there's no nights off for us at all because, every single team is going to bring it, again, like it's their Super Bowl.
Definitely. And Dr. Love just brought up another great point. He said Miles Kelly, since he got there, he's gotten bigger too. Yeah, since he's been there. Definitely.
Miles has gained about 13 pounds of muscle since he's been here. And he's going to keep going too. He's done a great job.
Hey, man, again, like I said, without me knowing you and seeing the physique on those kids, it was clear. When I say it's clear, it doesn't take a rocket science to see. Like I said, when I stood there at IMG, I was like, God, these guys are really ripped and jacked, man. And like I said, and it showed between conditioning and muscle, like you guys just wore those guys down. And, from the aggressive style that you played, it was just like, when I like to analyze games, by the time the third quarter was over, I said, when I looked at the other team, I said, yeah, they got them. You could see it. You could see that fatigue come, and with fatigue comes mental errors.
Yep.
And with those mental errors, you guys were still playing like you were in the first quarter. And I was like, good Lord. I was like, even though I was in tune to the game, I'm looking at the secondary stuff, and I'm like, man, I was like, this is the difference right here. This is the difference.
Yep, and that's just pure hard work from our guys. My strength and conditioning guy does a wonderful job, incredible program, and these kids put in that sweat equity every single day. All credit goes to them. We can have the best scheme and the best program in the world. If they don't get on that line and run those sprints, it ain't gonna matter.
You are so right about that. I think it's incredible that you guys have 100% placement rate, but again, you guys have a reputation like IMG. So if Hargrave calls, a coach is going to pick up the phone because they know of the reputation and they know of the quality of product they're going to get. I can only imagine an NAI coach celebrating getting somebody from Hargrave. That's definitely go out to eat night. Then if he commits from Hargrave, that's huge there. Shoot, even the D2s. You just said you place 10 D1s a year on average. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And again, one of the biggest things about us, and I got to take an opportunity just to talk about our school for a second. It's, Hargrave is a special place, and what coaches get out of a Hargrave player isn't just a good basketball player. They're getting a complete person. What we do on the school side, the education is top notch. They go through the military structure, which we're not training them to go to war or nothing like that, but they're waking up early. They're putting on a uniform. They're making sacrifices that a lot of guys their age aren't willing to sacrifice for their dreams. So, they're going through all that. And when a coach really sits down and thinks, man, what kind of kid do I want to put in the game, with 2 minutes left to try to win me this game when I need to win to save my job, They say, well, there's a kid that, at age 17, 18, decided, you know what, I'm going to go to an all-boys school in the middle of nowhere in Chatham, Virginia. I'm going to wake up. He's going to wake up at 6 a.m. every day. He's going to go put the military uniform on. He's going to go run his tail off in practice, get in the best shape possible. He's going to press 40 minutes. He's going to do all that just to achieve his dream. That's the guy I want to rock with. I'm putting him in the game because I know he's going to do whatever it takes to get that win. And that's what's so special about our environment here.
Definitely. And your formula works. That's just the bottom line. It works. And like you said, it's a character thing. What you just said was 100% facts. A coach to say, hey, if he's willing to do all this just to achieve his dream, yeah, I want him. Are you kidding me? And then if they watch you play, they're going to say, yeah, I want that style of player because that's going to help me. Now, Lord help when you get the 5 stars. Then it becomes almost unfair to go with all of that. Man, but yeah, when you add that, and again, with the military circuit as well, because there are great programs, because you have Fort Union, you have Massanutten. Who else do you have?
We usually loop in Scotland out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come down, and Combine's got an up-and-coming program down there neck of the woods. Mount Zion is out of Baltimore. Is a strong program. Olympus Prep is on the up and up. So we've got a lot of programs that, it's almost not to put anybody down, but some of the second tier schools that we're playing against, they still have 5 or 6 Division I players every single year, and it's you've got to come to play every single day against those teams. They're super talented.
Definitely. And you guys just finished up a couple of weeks on the military circuit, right?
Yeah, we hosted our event last weekend. We're lucky enough to have a good combination. We actually invited some high school teams down from North Carolina and West Virginia to come kind of play a North Carolina-West Virginia battle, which was a lot of fun.
Okay.
It was a great event. A lot of guys got some exposure. My guard, Jackie, got a couple of offers. That's when they started flowing in. I know some other schools got some kids that got offers for that event. So, especially in 2021, like we are now, any opportunity you can get to get coaches' eyes on you and play high-level games, I mean, it's a blessing for everybody involved.
Definitely. And so now educate me a little bit more on Hargrave from a post-grad situation. So yes, you're getting up in the morning, you're putting on the military uniform. Is it a requirement that they have to go to class, or if they've already achieved their academic side, after putting on the uniform and going through military exercises, do they just go straight to working out and no class, or is it required for them to go to class?
Yeah, so I have a master's in teaching. My mom is a teacher. My dad is a teacher as well. So let me tell you, education is something that's very, very, very important to me. So our guys go to class. So what we do is we have 3 academic blocks per day. And that third academic block, that's when we do individual skill work. We're doing strength and conditioning, working on shooting, ball handling, all that kind of stuff. And then we have a team practice in the afternoon. So we're doing 2-a-days the entire year. What we do in the other academic blocks for guys that are fully qualified and finished all the requirements for the NCAA, they actually can take college classes during that time and do a dual enrollment through our teachers on campus here. They're certified at the college level to teach those courses. So they can walk away with 8 to 12 college credit hours, included in tuition, through their year at Hargrave. So they can kind of, walk in, get a jump start on a double major or a master's degree, while they do, what we do on the basketball side here. So it's kind of the best of both worlds for them because they don't lose any eligibility, but they can walk in with those credits. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a good deal right there. Got another question from Dr. Love. He said, "How was Montrezl Harrell there?"
Man, let me tell you about Montrezl. So he was a year before I got here, but I've heard more Montrezl stories, and I've met Montrezl a few times. He's one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet off the court. On the court, he wanted to kill you. And the biggest thing about him, I think he's listed at 6'8" on the rosters now. He's probably more about 6'6" and a half, 6'7".
Okay.
He tried to dunk literally everything. I mean, every rebound, every time he got the ball, he wanted to dunk. Didn't matter if there were 3 or 4 guys in his way, he was going to dunk through you. So he was one of the hardest workers. I mean, people still tell stories about how hard he worked every single day, every single practice. Just an incredible motor on him. And he's been incredible for our guys as a resource. And before the pandemic, he would always get us tickets to go when they would play at Charlotte and take us down to the court and let us kind of see practice and everything. So he's a wonderful, wonderful asset for us. And again, he's going to go down at Hargrave as one of the hardest workers to kind of ever put that jersey on.
So, well, let me ask this in a second part of that question. Was it Hargrave that brought that out of him, or was he already that type of player when he got there?
Yeah, without coaching him directly, I can't really answer that, but I can speak about some of our other NBA guys that have been here in my time. And, it's really a combination. Hargrave itself is not going to give you that drive. It's not going to turn you into somebody that, really wants it. But a lot of guys, when they get into our environment, and it's different than what they've experienced before, this is a place where if you have that drive and that's inside of you, we can bring that out. We can't give it to you. And there are some guys that come here and they realize, man, I don't have it. Like this ain't, I don't want it that bad. I'm not going to go to the NBA. I'm going to go to college and that's going to be it for me. And like this dude next to me is crazy. Why does he want it that bad? But there are guys that it's finally their opportunity to say, I can invest fully in this. I'm going to give everything I've got. Look at these results. Look how my life has changed. So it's kind of a combination of the two.
Okay. So, and now the other thing I find interesting with Hargrave, I mean, to be honest, you have colleges that come and pick your coaches off too, man.
Yeah, we do. I'm lucky enough that in my time, I've worked with a lot of guys that are in college right now. My first job down here, I worked for A.W. Hamilton, who's now the head coach at Eastern Kentucky. And then I was the associate head coach for Lee Martin, who's now an assistant at Ohio University. And Kevin Keats came before that. And, there's countless assistants that have also gone on to the Division I, Division II level. And I think it's really, it's a testament to how quality our staff is here that schools want to bring those guys along. And, I tell all the recruits every time we bring them in, I introduce them to the staff and they all talk to them. And I said, don't get too attached because they might not be here next year, not because I'm going to fire them, but, they might have great opportunities ahead of them. I'm blessed. My staff right now, all of them are going to be Division I coaches. I'm convinced. It's an incredible staff. They support me, and really all the successes behind the scenes that they achieve. That's what kind of shines through when the bright lights come on. So it's really more them than me, and I can confidently say that.
Got you. And so one of the big things about post-grad, as we all know, is exposure, of course. You guys are already playing the military. You play in the military circuit. And a lot of times you deal mostly with a lot of the events with Adam Finkelstein, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Adam's been great for us. Yep.
And then also you deal with IMG. So that's basically the gist of your schedule, right?
Yeah. In a non-pandemic year, we travel a little bit more. We'll go to an event in Kentucky normally. We normally play in the Hoop Hall up in Springfield.
Yes.
And so we sprinkle in some other high-level events. I think we traveled to 11 different states, 2 years ago before the pandemic. So we get out and we play a lot of different events, and it's crazy to think about all the eyes that get on our kids through those events. But really the live period is when our guys get the most kind of eyes on them, and everyone's kind of starstruck in a normal year, and they come up out of the gym and there's 20 to 30 Division I coaches just sitting on the sideline waiting for them to work out. Just our guys, just our team. It's different than that AAU event where you got 9 different courts and the coaches are bouncing around. Like these guys, came to little old Chatham and they're sitting on that sideline waiting to watch us for an hour and a half. So it's a pretty cool experience for those guys, and you can kind of tell when they walk up, it kind of hits them like, oh, like this is all real now.
So you're referring to September when everybody comes out to the gym, right?
Yep.
And again, I can only imagine you probably do have, like between you and like the Florida schools probably have 50 to 70 coaches lined up, just to see your kids.
We had 256 different schools combined to watch our practices last year, and that's incredible. That's Division I, Division II, 256 different schools. If you can imagine that, came to little old Chatham.
56 schools came to Hargrave.
It's incredible, and there's no easy way to get here either. I can tell you, there's no airports near us. There's no major metropolitan areas. The only reason you're coming here is to walk in that gym.
Man, that speaks volumes right there. 256 schools last year. And yes, we know because of COVID, a lot of coaches couldn't get out to see you this year. But, I mean, again, I'm sure they're on live stream and everything else. Like, when you guys were at the IMG Classic a couple weeks ago, man, they said there was a number of coaches watching live stream because of the quality of competition that was there.
Yeah, it's a different cycle, and we've put on some live stream workouts as well, and we've had 30, 40 coaches tuned in to watch it. We do that, and it's a different recruiting year, but we're still doing everything we can to kind of get eyes on our guys.
And again, you guys do an excellent job. So I mean, again, I definitely understand why there's 10 D1s and a couple D2s, and I can only imagine how thrilled a high academic D3 would be to get a Hargrave kid, because that's another fit for them as well if they have the grades. I mean, Have you guys ever sent a high academic D3 kid to maybe the UAA or like an MIT or something like that?
Yeah, we've sent a couple. Our most recent, we sent to the WIAC out of Wisconsin to
Yes.
that conference, and
That's a tough conference.
Yeah, and that's a good conference. There's
Yes.
champions that come out of that conference. One of my big things, again, coming from an educational background, is I want everyone to leverage their basketball to put themselves in a great educational opportunity, and that's the biggest thing. Is you can walk away with a degree that's going to mean something for the rest of your life. After your basketball career ends.
And man, that's a great point right there, man. And your program, I tell anybody that comes on this podcast right here as a post-grad coach, I sign off on it. And without a doubt, I sign off on Hargrave because you guys do an amazing job. And then, like I said, when we met, I was already impressed, but when we met, you're a good guy anyway, but it's what you guys bring to the table, and it's just hands down, there's nothing to talk about. Like I said, I was sold just off of before I met you. I was already sold, and I was even more sold after I met you because I said, man, what they bring right here and the fact that you all are quality people, you can't go wrong. And I'll speak from an Atlanta standpoint. We have kids that come up there, and when they come back, everybody's like, hey, what happened?
Right.
So, KD was the next, he was just the one of the list of many that's been up there and came back, and we're like, wow, what happened? Because I didn't really know if he was quite Georgia ready.
Yep.
With the Hargrave, I was like, oh yeah, he's ready now. He's ready.
Yeah, and the Atlanta kids, there is so much talent in Atlanta. The last 3 years, we had Tyson Jackson 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He came to us from Creekside and went on to Middle Tennessee. He's starting from day one for them. And
Yeah.
KD last year came with us, and he's playing a big role at Georgia from day one. And now Miles Kelly, who's going to go in and step right into a big time role at Georgia Tech. And I'm excited for who the next one is next year. I can't wait to get out on the road when we're allowed to and everything's safe, because we got to get another Atlanta guy next year.
I think I may know of one as well, but we'll talk later about that.
Coach, that sounds good, but you could be my eyes in Atlanta until I can get down there. How does that sound?
Definitely. A lot of guys come in, they're asking questions anyway, but, for me, when I see certain kids, I would have to say, I wouldn't send you a certain type of kid to say, yeah, would he be good for your program? But I'd say, Coach, like you just said, I don't think he would be able to survive some of the Hargrave mentality. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And until some people actually understand that, then it's you can say, oh yeah, you could go to Hargrave, but you may be back in 3 weeks.
Right, and it takes a special person to do it. It really does, and that's why, again, that's part of why our guys get recruited the way they do, because college coaches know, when they can hang here and they can do what's expected of them here. One of the biggest things. Now I'll just go on a little tangent here. I think one of the biggest things that a lot of high school guys don't understand is when you go to college and they get a scholarship, that's really like a job. They're paying you. It's basically employment. They're paying you to play basketball. So they're going to have certain expectations. It's not going to be, waking up at, 1 o'clock in the afternoon and then going and, grabbing a little bite to eat and getting some shots up and then all of a sudden, party after practice. That's not what it's like. You're going to have a coach that expects you to wake up, put a workout in, go to class, do a film session, go to practice, go at a high level, do your homework, and then go to bed, at a certain time, and then wake up and do it again the next day. Yeah, that's what we do here. That's part of our model here, is to kind of mimic that. But when you take that next step, the coaches need to know, man, not only is he talented enough, he's a good player, but can he handle what's required of him? And that's the check that we can give coaches that, a lot of other schools, it's kind of a question mark. It's like, we think you can, but not sure. If you came out of Hargrave, we know we can.
Exactly. And that's a great point, man. And, I like to end a lot of interviews by saying, why Hargrave? But you've already checked that. You've already checked that because of what you just said. Because if you're going to Hargrave and, quote unquote, you survive Hargrave for 6 to 8 months, a lot of coaches are going to think, like you just said, he's ready.
Right.
And number two, his body's going to show. As I told you, I was like, my gosh. everybody is sculpted that plays for Hargrave. So yeah, I mean, for a number of reasons.
And I show my age a little bit when I say this, but we have a lot of guys that go from boys to men. When they come to campus, they leave as men when they go on to college.
Definitely, and I, you know what? Now, and this is just a small question. I can only assume that I'm sure, like Army and Navy, come down there to try and get guys too, right?
Yeah, we've they obviously have some pretty stringent academic requirements.
Yes.
Our student body will send a couple of guys to the academies every single year, and we sent one 2 years ago as our last one, and then the year before that as well. But they both had great careers both at Navy. But yeah, I mean, guys that can come through and they enjoy the experience here, and they think they're ready for it. It's way different at Army and Navy when you're actually in it, as opposed to when you're here and it's people think that they're in the military, but it's really just some more of a structured kind of daily college kind of prep experience, and you feel like they're in the military sometimes, but until you get there, you don't know how big of a difference it is.
Definitely. Coach Messenger, man, I appreciate you, man. This wasn't an introduction to Atlanta because you're already well versed in Atlanta, and like I said, every year you're grabbing Atlanta kid. I wouldn't be surprised if you start grabbing 2 or 3 of them because of the results you put out. Now, we have some good post-grads here, and then there's some good post-grads in Florida as well, but you guys are always going to be right in the picture, same with Link here, to come here and be able to attract kids there because of what you do, how you do it, and how well you do it. That's just what it is. And you guys do an amazing job, and the results show year in and year out where you're putting kids in college, and not only putting kids in because it's impressive that you have 100% placement rate, but those kids that you're putting there are excelling.
Sure. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. We want guys that can go in and they can contribute right away on the basketball court and do what's expected off the court, so they can be positive members of those cultures. And we're proud that our guys are stepping on courts day one and able to contribute.
Definitely. Hey, man, like I always say, this will not be the last time you will be on the show. I will definitely have you on next season because I will want to know who you have coming in and who's this and who's that for next year as well. So if I don't see, I want to probably try and catch you whatever they decide to do with the national tournament. So I'll probably catch you there. But, man, it's been a pleasure, man, and I appreciate you for coming on, man.
Coach, I appreciate everything you guys do for these kids. I mean, it's incredible, and especially again during this weird year, having an advocate like you is just invaluable. So I appreciate everything you're doing for all these guys as well.
I appreciate it, man. You have a good one, man, and we'll be in touch real soon. All right.
Sounds good. I need that next hidden gem out of Atlanta.
I'm sure you do. We'll talk some more about that.
Sounds good, Coach.
All right. Take care.
All right.
That was Coach Messenger, definitely a good guy. And, man, like I said, Hargrave speaks for himself, man. I mean, incredible program. If anybody ever gets a chance to watch them, by all means, go watch them or go watch them on YouTube. I'm sure there's some games for Hargrave and see how hard they play. A lot of you young kids and even parents, if you want to see what it's like to play on the next level, watch Hargrave play because the way how aggressive those kids play, that'll let you know they're battle tested and ready for college. It's that time of the day for the show. This segment always means a lot to me because, like we said, with Coach Juke and myself, putting these kids out here, it's been big for both of us to see these kids start to get offers. Juke, what's going on, man? Not sure. I'm not sure he hasn't made it yet. He hasn't made it yet. So what I'm going to do since he hasn't made it yet, because I think Juke still had a game, so he's not quite back yet. I'm going to go ahead and show my kids. So the kids that I had for this show, still no slouch at all. I'm going to start with the girls that I had on the show. I have one girl prospect for this show. Her name is Simone Peace, and We're going to give it 1 second as we queue up our stuff since we were waiting on Juke. While we're waiting on everything to queue up, I just want to touch on this show. And when I say I want to touch on this show while we're waiting on my players to queue up, I want everybody to understand this. I love Division I basketball. I love Division II basketball. I love Division III basketball. I love NAIA basketball. I love JUCO basketball. So what I'm trying to say is I love all levels. What I'm passionate about, what I want everybody to understand is that everybody's level is not always the same, and that's not a bad thing. And I hate where kids have this understanding, if I'm not on ESPN playing for a Power 5, I'm a failure. Parents, please talk to your kids and get that out of their mind. That's nonsense. That's complete nonsense. So what I want you guys to understand, just off this show tonight, Coach Messenger, a D3 product. Coach Jennings, the women's coach at North Texas, a D3 product. The guy that announced, the prospect that announced tonight, Jordan Jefferson, is going to be a D3 product. But what I want you guys to understand and see, do you see the success even after the ball stops bouncing? Coach Jennings is at North Texas. Coach Messenger is one of the top post-grad coaches in the country at Hargrave. So if we're talking long game, who won? Where are those guys from Syracuse from those classes? And that's no knock to none of them, because I'm sure some of them may be doing well. Where are those guys from Power 5s? Where are those guys from, even high D2s? You have to understand you can still eat. And when I say still eat, meaning you can still do very well coming from a D3 school. And I want to hammer that home continuously. I'm going to have coaches come on, as you can see, from all levels. We had a D1 coach on here from a women's side. We didn't have a men's coach because we had Jordan on the show as a commitment. But I have coaches come on from the D3, D2, from the Peach Belt. I had D1 coaches from the Horizon Conference come on. And we're going to continue to do this because I want every level for everybody to see that. So with that being said, please, when a coach calls you, do not act funny. Do not sit up here and say, oh, well, coach, I'm going to bet on myself. Yes, you can bet on yourself, but you need to keep all your options open, because you never know when it's going to be your time to say, well, coach, this D1 option didn't work out. Instead of me going in the portal, I remember you made an impression on me. Do you have a home for me there? Please entertain every offer is all I'm saying. Because, one of the biggest things for me is, would you rather be a guy that sits on the bench at a Power 5 or a mid-major or low major? Or would you want to be that guy who is the man at a D2 or a D3? Because now you increases your chances if your perspective is you want to go professional. D3s are putting guys overseas as well. So then it becomes you came home from this Power 5, but you didn't play that much. But here comes your old teammate from high school, and he went D3. He ended up being an all-conference or maybe honorable mention All-American. Yeah, he's going to get those looks for overseas. And now you're scratching your head saying, how did such and such get that look? I was better than him in high school. Well, he kept working, number one. And number two, he went to a program that fit for him. That fit, you're going to hear that 100 times over. 100 times over. So Juke may not be able to make it tonight because of the game, and that's fine. We still got a couple minutes. I wanted to make sure I put these kids out because this is near and dear to my heart. So, again, we're going to start with Simone Peace. She's a 2021 6'1" forward. She's from Sherwood High School in Washington State. As we can see, Simone has a clip with her. She's a shooter. So you coaches that are looking at this, definitely somebody who's a program that needs a shooter that can fill it up. She definitely can do that. And with her playing on the forward end, she's a rebounder, so she's going to give you some good defense, and she'll be able to play on the blocks. She plays D as well. I look at her like, hey, people, please pay attention. At 6'1", I think she would be a great D2 guard or D2 forward, definitely. Great D2 and possibly, a low major, definitely. So if you guys are out there looking, pay attention. Simone Peace, inside out, definitely. And a good defender as well. Definitely a good defender. Good D. Good D again. She filling that stat sheet with steals. I know that. Definitely a good player there. Definitely a good player. My next player coming up, I'm going to go the JUCO route. This guy's near and dear to my heart as well. He's an Atlanta kid. We're going to go with Josh Guilford out of Southern Union Community College. Also from Heritage Conyers High School as well. 6-foot guard. Third team academic All-American. So my high academic schools, you definitely need to take a look at this guy. Definitely could go, and grades are not a problem. So I would like to see a high academic D2, high academic D3, or even you low majors. Definitely take a look at this kid. This kid, he can play. Nice silky shot with him. Great form. Definitely a shooter. Definitely a shooter. Definitely want to shout out his AAU program. Georgia Man Up. Definitely a man up kid. This kid is definitely he's going to go somewhere next year, definitely. Plays good D. Can get to the cup as well. Again, that shot is silky. Definitely a silky shot. You leave him open, you're going to be running back down court. Let's just put it like that. Definitely good kid. Definitely likes. I need y'all to pay attention with a kid like that with some good grades. By all means, give him a call. Next kid is out of Independence Community College in Kansas. His name is Jordan Alexander. Another guard. Definitely like what I see out of him. When I see Jordan, I look at him and say, you know what? Somebody could give this kid a chance. Give him a chance. A little patient with us. We're just trying to cue this up. It'll be up in one moment. And for some of you that watch the show, he is in the lefty club. Good move. Nice little silky strap with him. Good pass. Good pass again. Tough to the cup. I like the kid. Definitely like him a lot. Definitely a kid. Coaches, if you see him out there, give him a shot. I think he can do something for a program. The next two kids, I can only imagine I will get phone calls off of these next two. The next kid, a 7-footer. I saw him down in Florida at Scott Golden's event. His name is David Idada. When I first saw him, he had just arrived here from the Netherlands. I think, a little more work. There's no question there'll be a number of coaches still looking at him. 7-foot big body. Take a look for yourself. Big fella. As I said, really big body. 7 foot, I think 240, if I'm not mistaken. Taking his time up, not to flop. Jump hook. Definitely a traditional back to the basket guy. Good move. Definitely. I think with some more work, definitely can be polished into a quality D1 center. Next guy, my last one of the night, definitely like this guy. Javonte Randall from Downey Christian. 6'10 prospect. I like this guy. I think this guy is going to get a lot of attention, definitely. Looks like we're having some problems with the Javonte Randall. Looks like it froze up on us. So that'll conclude tonight. We had a couple JUCOs, we had a post grad, and we had a young lady out there tonight. Definitely, if anybody's interested, please reach out. I think all of these kids are, well, not think, I know all of them are still available. Before we end the show tonight, I definitely want to say congratulations to Jordan for committing to Oglethorpe University. But on a lighter note, I want to send some condolences out. Coach Lou Hill from the University of Texas at Rio Grande Valley passed away in his sleep last night, and he was not old. I mean, he was definitely still a young man, and he passed away unexpectedly. Prayers go out to his family. And another one that's dear to my heart was the legendary hoop scout, Tom Kachalski. If you've been in basketball the last 30 plus years, you've heard that name from a scouting standpoint. This guy has been all over the country. He's a definitely quality guy, and he's battling some health issues, and unfortunately he passed away. Condolences to his family as well. This is a basketball culture, so when somebody's affected like this, we want to send our condolences because both of them meant a lot to this game. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Again, congratulations to Jordan. It won't be the last time we have some kids commit on the show. I thought that was great. And it didn't have to be a D1 or D2. I wanted to make sure everybody on every level, if they commit, I'm all open to you committing on the show by all means. Again, congratulations and thank you for tuning in. And next week, we got a good show coming up. By all means, tune in at 7 p.m. next Monday. And we appreciate you for coming out. Thank you.